Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my sister's family live in my house after they sold theirs for a dream vacation? So I, 32 male, own a modest 3-bedroom house that I've been paying off for the last 10 years. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine, and I'm proud of it. My sister, 29 female, and her husband, 31 male, are the typical free-spirited types. They've always talked about quitting the rat race, living life to the fullest, all that. Well, a few months ago, they finally did it. They sold their house during a booming market, thinking the profit would fund a year-long break to travel. They believed they could stretch the money by traveling cheaply, staying in hostels or Airbnbs, and getting by with occasional odd jobs. At first, they stayed in nicer places and ate out a lot, thinking they had plenty of cushion. But within 2 months, they were out of money. They underestimated how quickly expenses would pile up, especially with 2 young kids, 7 female and 5 male, to feed and care for. Now that their funds are drained, they've decided to stop full-time travel, but don't want to settle down yet. Instead, they asked to live with me, rent-free, for the next 10 months while they figure things out. They say they'll still try to take some occasional trips if they find super cheap deals, but for the most part, they want to stay at my house. I told them no. My house isn't big enough. I don't want the disruption, and I certainly don't think it's fair for them to live off me because their plan failed. I offered to help them find an affordable rental, or even cover part of their expenses for a couple of months so they could get back on their feet, but that wasn't enough. My sister blew up at me, calling me selfish and accusing me of being jealous of their adventurous lifestyle. To make it worse, my parents are siding with her, saying that family should help family and that I'm being too rigid. The thing is, my parents live in a small apartment and can't take in my sister's family, which is probably why they're pushing it to me. They say I don't understand the value of experiences and that I should be more supportive. Some of our mutual friends are also saying I should be more understanding, but I think it's completely unreasonable to expect me to house their whole family for nearly a year just because they didn't plan properly. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. They say I don't understand the value of experiences. Tell them you don't value the experience of having freeloaders in your house indefinitely. Not a-hole. I would have just started laughing uncontrollably and wouldn't have even been able to answer for the last 5 minutes. Financial screw-ups, check. Parents on side of financial screw-ups, check. Mutual friends on side of the financial screw-ups, check. Parents can upsize. Mutual friends can accommodate. You are under zero obligation to fund their financial screw-ups. Yep, I would start telling all of those people, I'm so glad you want to help sister/brother-in-law. Would you like me to tell them the great news that they can live with you rent-free with their 2 kids? Or do you want to give them the happy news? To the parents, I'm happy you want to help them out. Do you want my help to sell your current place and look for a bigger place? When they're all like, oh, we don't want to house them, be like, yeah, neither do I. So you do understand. You just think it's okay for them to take advantage of me. Good to know you think so little of me. I will be lowering contact till you pull your head out of your behind. Not a-hole OP. OP, please install cameras all around your house if you don't already have any. People who think it's wise to sell their home and become vagrants with very young kids who should be learning socializing in school are not sane people, and I wouldn't put it past them to try and force their way in and squat. Next story. Am I the a-hole for accidentally ruining a highly anticipated wedding through a compliment? I, 17 female, have been staying at my uncle's house for a few weeks now. He is a handicapped man who lost both his legs to a car accident 5 years ago. Being a wheelchair user, he always believed that he would never get married or have a love life because of his age and physical limitations. However, he is a very hilarious man with an entertaining personality, and almost all our relatives love him and we all wanted him to find love. After a lot of matchmaking, he finally started dating a girl a year ago. They decided to get married on September 25th, 2024. A week ago, I came across an Instagram post of my friend, and in that picture, I saw my uncle's girlfriend chilling in the background. What I didn't notice was a guy standing next to her. She was wearing a beautiful dress, so I sent that picture to my uncle appreciating his girl's beauty. Turns out that the guy I ignored was her ex. There arose some conflicts, and he called off the marriage. She may or may not have cheated on him. They didn't clarify anything. All my relatives are outraged after realizing that I was the main reason for this. They told me that I should have shown something like this to proper adults, instead of ruining a long-awaited marriage. I tried telling them that I didn't expect it to turn out like this, but they all keep insulting me for being a family ruiner. My uncle said that we should not try matchmaking in this case again, and that he is not interested in anything anymore. My senseless action led to all this mess, and I feel very guilty. Edit 1. The picture was not taken long ago. It was clicked on September 10 at the birthday party of the said friend's sibling. Not the a-hole. You didn't ruin the marriage. It was a pre-existing issue that you unknowingly exposed. Exactly. It's unfair to blame her for uncovering something that was already brewing beneath the surface. It's tough to see how one mistake spiraled into such chaos. Your intentions were good, but it's a reminder that relationship can be fragile. Don't be too hard on yourself. You didn't mean for this to happen. So wait, your family thinks it would have been better if your uncle never found out his fiancée cheated on him and just ignorantly married a cheater anyway? Jesus, what a bunch of ableist a-holes. Your uncle is not some charity case who should gratefully accept whatever crappy cheating a-hole is willing to make a terrible sacrifice of marrying him. He's a good man with a great sense of humor who happens to use a wheelchair. He's allowed to have as high standards for a partner as anyone. Whoever he ends up with will be just as lucky to be with him as he will be to be with her. If your uncle was able-bodied and his fiancée cheated, no one would think you ruined his wedding by accidentally alerting him to the cheating. They would rightfully blame the cheating fiancée for ruining her own wedding and breaking your uncle's heart. This deeply ableist belief that this was his only chance, and you ruined it by revealing she was a crappy person, but crappy is all he can hope for. So it would have been better if he never found out. So this is your fault, Opie? Is absolutely disgusting. Your uncle deserves better from his future partners, and way better from his horrible ableist family, who don't seem to see him as a whole person equally deserving of love, loyalty, and respect. I agree. Even with your uncle's condition, he deserves someone that will truly love him and will not cheat on him. You did not ruin his wedding. You prevented your uncle from being miserable if he finds out that her girlfriend is cheating on him after their marriage, Opie. Not the a-hole. Edit 2. After taking inspiration from all the people that told me I am not at fault, I mustered up the courage to ask my cousin what exactly happened. The girlfriend was indeed cheating. I confirmed it. I stated that my family loves my uncle, but hearing everyone's take on this, I am genuinely questioning it. I don't know much about the core family drama involved in this, because they don't consider me an adult to share any of it. They are enforcing the forgive and forget culture. My grandmother is still trying to convince my uncle for a compromise. Apparently, I don't think she considers cheating as a problem. Don't question me. I am just as baffled as all of you. Next story. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go nuclear after my sister-in-law kicked out her teenage sons? Hey everyone, my husband 34 and I 36 are in a tough situation with my sister-in-law, Barbara 41, and we need an outside perspective on whether we're overreacting or if our stance is justified. We're leaning toward the latter but are open to thoughts. Barbara has 4 boys, 17, 14, 13, and 7. Despite her having a rough history with bad relationships, her kids have always been well-behaved. The only constant man in her life has been Reese, 48, her on and off husband who does nothing for her or the kids except work. He blows his money gambling, cheats on her openly, and relies on her for everything else. For 7 years, she's come to us venting about him, swearing it's the last time, but always goes back. In 2020, after yet another huge fight, the entire family intervened. We sat her down, told her we were here to help with anything she needed. Lawyers, a safe place for her and the kids, even handling the legal stuff if necessary. She agreed to kick him out, but within 6 months he was back because he couldn't find a place to stay. This grown man, who has worked a steady job for 20 years, somehow needed help. Since then, things have gotten progressively worse. Barbara decided to stick with marriage counseling, even though the whole family urged her to leave. She's clung to the idea of honoring her marriage despite the toxic environment. As a result, her kids have started to suffer. The eldest started skipping school and smoking heavily. A few months ago, my husband got a 2 a.m. call from him who said he was self-harming and afraid to act on it. When we got to their house, we learned he had told his stepdad the same thing, and Reese told him to just do it because no one would care. My husband, understandably, hit him in the face. We took the boy to the hospital and after his release, brought him home with us for 3 weeks to help him recover. Eventually, he returned to his mom's house, thinking things had smoothed over, but they quickly fell apart again. Soon enough, the second oldest began having issues too. For months, they'd been fighting constantly, and we didn't realize how bad it had gotten until we couldn't get in touch with either of them. Barbara had gone silent. My husband showed up at her house and announced, something our family often does for fun, only to find out that she had washed her hands of the 2 boys for being disrespectful and kicked them out. She had even turned off their phones and didn't know where they were staying. We found out that they'd been crashing with friends for weeks, tried to stay under the radar because they were embarrassed. We picked them up from school and brought them home with us again. They told us that their mom and stepdad had been bullying them, constantly fighting, and that they didn't feel safe going back. Barbara admitted that she put them out, but insisted things weren't as bad as they made it sound. Now, my husband and I want to go full nuclear, report this to CPS, the police, and anyone who can intervene. But the rest of the family wants to handle it internally. We feel like 2 minors were abandoned and that deserves an extreme response. But the family is now saying we're overreacting and at the end of the day, these are not our children. So, are we the a-holes for wanting to report this situation and not leave it to family discussions? The 2 oldest boys are with us for now, but we're ready to escalate this. Now for the top comments before the little update. Escalated Monday morning. Good grief, what a mess. Not the a-hole. No, don't wait for a business day. This needs to be handled now. A call to CPS and police. You can't kick your kids out of your home. There are still 2 kids in the home. They need to be checked on too. The 2 oldest were kicked out because they could and probably were fighting back. The youngest can't. Not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole. Barbara's actions, kicking out her teenage sons and creating a toxic, unsafe environment, are serious and should be reported. You're absolutely right to involve authorities like CPS and the police. This is about protecting the kids, and family discussions won't fix the underlying issues. You did the right thing by prioritizing the boys' safety. It's good you called the police. This situation requires outside intervention. Not the a-hole. You can save the other 2 kids a decade of trauma if you put your foot down and end this. If she won't leave him, that's her problem. But those kids need out. Don't be the family that watches them get burned to the ground and does almost nothing but watch 'cause family. Be the family that cares enough to save them. Ignore all the enablers who get upset. I was that child, and I will die with resentment for most of my family who knew, but ignored it. Be the adults those kids deserve. Do the right thing, even if it angers people off because they can't pretend everything is perfect anymore to outsiders. Stop protecting the adults and protect the children. Before you escalate, you should get a family law attorney and get on pace to get certified to be foster parents. Being related is not an automatic reason for CPS to give custody. Ask how I know. Go nuclear after your ducks are in a row. Definitely prioritize the boys' safety. Report it. They need a stable environment ASAP. Update: we call the police. Thank you all for the support. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go to my cousin's wedding after she brought a cake saying recovering from drugs to my birthday? So I, 32 female, have been clean for almost 3 years now after struggling with drug addiction. It's been a rough road, but I'm proud of how far I've come. Most of my family have been supportive, but some not so much. My cousin Emily, 28 female, and I aren't that close. We get along, but it's not like we talk often or anything. A few months ago, my family threw me a small birthday party. I was feeling really good about it. I mean, I've been through a lot, and I was finally in a place where I could enjoy being around people again. Everything was going fine until it was time for cake. Emily walks in, all smiles, holding a cake that says, "Congratulations on recovering from drugs," in big bright letters. I felt like my heart dropped. It was so embarrassing. I mean, yeah, everyone there knew about my recovery, but it wasn't something I wanted plastered all over a cake at my birthday party. Some people laughed awkwardly, and I could tell a few of my family members were just as uncomfortable as I was. Emily, though, acted like it was the funniest thing in the world. She said it was just a joke, and she thought it'd be a funny way to acknowledge my progress. I tried to keep it together, smiled through it, but inside I was hurt and angry. Afterwards, I pulled her aside and told her the cake was completely out of line. She kinda rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, come on, it was just a joke, and you're being too sensitive. I was just trying to show I'm proud of you." I explained that my recovery isn't something I want joked about, especially not in front of people, but she didn't seem to get it at all. She just shrugged and moved on, like it was no big deal. Now our wedding is coming up in a few weeks, and I really don't want to go. I'm still hurt over what happened, and I just feel like she doesn't respect my boundaries. It's a big family event though, so if I don't go, everyone's going to notice and ask why. But honestly, I don't want to sit through the whole thing pretending everything is fine when it's not. I told my mom how I felt, and she said I'm overreacting. She thinks Emily's joke was dumb but harmless, and that skipping the wedding would just cause drama for no reason. She keeps telling me to just let it go and not make things awkward, but I don't know if I can. I feel like this is more than just about the cake. It's about the fact that Emily doesn't seem to respect my recovery or my feelings. Am I really supposed to just get over it for the sake of a family peace? Not the a-hole. She crossed a major line. Your feelings are valid. Thank you. I absolutely agree. Don't go if you don't want to. You can, however, wear a sash with "recovering drug addict" on it and see how funny she'll find that. Not the a-hole totally, and your mom should be on your side and not to try to appease some family members. Take yourself on a trip on the day of the wedding. Take lots of pictures and share them with everyone on social media with captions that say things like, "My cousin reminded me how important it is to celebrate my sobriety, so I am." Enjoy your life. Your feelings are so valid. And that's the thing about invitations. They are requests, not requirements. You never have to go to anything you're invited to if you don't want to go. And it can be for any reason at all. Your cousin being a jerk is definitely a good reason. And anyone who is mad about it afterward can stay mad, because you are allowed to make adult choices in your adult life. Your cousin was hurtful, period. And everyone else at a party, besides the ones defending her, knows it. If they're also invited to the wedding, they will completely understand when you don't show up. They might not even show up themselves. Who wants to celebrate a person like that anyway? I wish you well and congratulations on your sobriety. That's such an amazingly huge thing, and you've got all my respect.